Did you know just how many amazing sewing supplies are hiding at the thrift store? I actually thought this would make a really great challenge that I'm calling the Sewing Salvage. What can I salvage sewing supplies salvaged off ready-made garments from the thrift store for $20? And yes, we're going shopping today. Let's just go over a few rules. I'm not being too nitpicky here. I decided on a $20 budget because, well, one, it just sounds really good and sort of gives you how much can you get for a certain amount. But I am salvaging sewing supplies, so be it whatever I can get to use in my sewing from ready-made garments. So the idea here is that I'm not looking in the haberdashery section and finding sewing supplies. I'm actually salvaging them off ready-made garments. That's pretty much all the rules. And so I have a few stores in mind. One of them is a brand new one, which I'm so excited. So grab your purse and let's get shopping. And so we're here at the first one that is actually an op shop, thrift store, and cafe in one. I have not been here before. It's brand new store. So I'm quite excited because in my experience, brand new stores can be either amazing because they have all the things that you haven't been able to get yet, and you get them all when they first open, or not so good, and we'll, cross that off the list of visiting stores. Let's go see what this one is like. I'm really excited. I think I'll get a coffee as well. In this store, they had a lot of hardware items to salvage. I found buttons, buckles, lace trims, bargain section, different clips, zips, all the different hardware. There's a lot of bits and pieces to find on garments, some broken. All right, I just finished off with that first store and it was okay. It's a little pricey, as generally all thrifting is these days, right? My gosh, people like me are spreading the word too much about thrift store bargains that you can get. Anyways, I think you see what we're going for here. We've got, zips, buttons, all the different hardware, lace inserts, all these bits and pieces of garments that can be salvaged off. So hopefully in this next store, I find a few more real goodies because they have a few bargain basement type areas, with the, super cheap that no one wants. They're the real ones where you find the gold. So let's see what we find in the next one. It really requires looking at everything, not just the haberdashery section and fabric, but looking at individual parts of garments. You can use the buckles, the buttons, the lace trimmings. There is so much. You really look at each individual piece. What can you get? Particularly the not quite right ones. More hardware, D-links, all sorts of unusual buttons. Even trims can be unpicked and used separately. Any bra hardware you need, you don't need to find anything else. Cutting out appliques and restitching them on entirely as separate pieces. Collar stands, shoulder pads. The list goes on, and you can even use entire trimming sections, cutting that off to use as a lace trim, a band separately. Okay, so this one was quite expensive, but I did find a few things. We'll go to one. I have one more idea. Hopefully they have some bargains for me to find. One more. Okay, let's do the show and tell and show you what I've got here from my salvaged items. I went over budget. There is absolutely no secrets there. It wasn't about sticking to a budget. It's more about what I could find, and yes, anyway, so budget blown, that's fine. And another note before we get started on this, I just want to, I know you might have questions about if you're salvaging the bits and pieces, or what about the rest of the fabric? So one is that, well, if you live in any Western country like I do, I'm in Australia, if you're in the US, the UK, you're likely in a similar situation in which if you go look at the stats yourself, and I encourage you to, that you'll find out that there are billions and billions of ton of all of these clothing. What you see in the thrift stores ends up in landfill every year. So it is quite traumatizing, really. They get, the thrift stores get donated things that are completely unsaleable, in which case they just have to throw them out themselves, or the sheer volume. There's just too much gets donated for how much can be sold, and they have to, it goes somewhere, and that's where it all ends up. So I like to think about it that I'm saving as much as possible. If I can reuse anything and save anything from being made new, that is very important to me, and that's what I try and do in my sewing here. And so you will also find out though there are lots of things you can do with the fabric as well. Doesn't mean that it's just completely wasted at all. If you pick something with good fabric, there's small items that you can make from the fabric, cuffs, collars, interfacings, all sorts of different things. You can use it as little test sample pieces of bits and pieces, and you'll have the most unlimited number of cleaning cloths that you ever need as well. There's plenty of things to do with all the other bits of the garments as well. And well, let's be honest, I usually pick all of these from the bargain bins, right? The $1, the $2 bins, where it is all of the stained, broken, unsold items that nobody wants to buy anyway. That's generally where I get all of these types of things from. I generally try not to actually salvage stuff, sewing stuff from something that's like a brand new clothing item that I think someone might actually buy, you know, that seems on trend. Usually the things I'm looking for are very not on trend and are the things that nobody wants. So I have that, but I just thought I would clarify that there for your own peace of mind as well, and how you might be able to look at it. Okay, let's get on with the actual, like, what I found here. So one of the first things that I found was this buckle on this dress. So it is a ripped knit. I do actually love the red and the flocked roses on here, but I was really interested in this buckle. So it's a self-covered velvet buckle that is just awesome. I'm going to use this for sure. And so I thought what else I would do. Actually with this, I thought I could be really sneaky, and actually because it's kind of like the design has these crossover parts, I'll probably be able to unpick these side seams, actually lift out the buckle, and then just sew up the side seams again real quickly on the overlocker, and then redonate it to the thrift store. Or maybe keep the fabric, because maybe I might be inspired to make a little red flocked velvet. It would be a small little number of something, but maybe. So I'll decide on that in a minute. But one buckle. This one cost $6, which is a little bit more than I would usually pay, but we were making a video today and that's what we were doing. Okay, I'm not sure if I do these in order. Let's go with this one. So I got this little knit thing for this lovely crochet type neckline thing that we have here. So this is it here. It's beautiful. It is just like a cotton crocheted neckline design that I'm going to unpick this whole thing. I see now it is a little bit stained here and here and here. So might soak that. I think it might come out. Can see why it was on. It wasn't even, it's still stained, but it was still full price at $5. Anyways, I'm going to unpick this one and use this as a little neckline feature, probably at the front. It's supposed to go at the back, but I might put it in, even if something ends up like yokes to here and here. This will be gorgeous. And this fabric will definitely be the softest, nicest cleaning cloths ever with this like knit. It's beautiful. So that's what that'll get used for. Along the same lines, this one here. So this one definitely broke my budget. It was $12. I know, thrift stores are getting so expensive these days. So I got this one here. It is this sort of fast fashion black dress, but I really love this whole neckline design shape that's going on here. It's a completely separate lace feature here. And it goes front and back, and the back even has a little button. It is completely worn out. It needs to be replaced, but that's easy. Button in. So all I'll need to do is actually unpick it all from here. It's just actually applique on. So I'll unpick it all, and then I will just basically reattach it to something else, obviously, and then I'm thinking actually sleeved, maybe a dolman sleeve or something like that, and have all this through here. So this is really, really lovely. This is one of these fast fashion items that, like, the proportions of this dress is just wild. I mean, when I was 12 years old, this would not even fit me. So this rest of this fabric is like quite a sturdy double knit. I'm sure it's very terrible poor quality and won't last very long in the wash, but I'm thinking it might actually be really good for, I'll keep it in my stash for maybe a little bralette or something like that with this double knit in the black. It might hold up enough for that. So that's what I'm going to double use that one for. And then I also found on the black theme again, This dress here, so I almost didn't get this. It was, if I was only sticking to $20 budget, I probably wouldn't have brought this one home, but I thought it would be interesting to show you different ways to think about things. So this particular one here is quite unique in that this shirred decorative bands here are actually sewn as an entirely separate band. So this has been made separately and then attached to the garment. And so you guessed it, you already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to unpick those bands. So I can unpick this, and then I can even sew them together or use them separately, but they'll still stretch and I'll be able to put them together, maybe as a neckline design around like a little peasant top, or I don't know, it won't quite fit me entirely around, but there'll be lots of different uses for that. So have a real close look at things like that. You might be really surprised. One way fast fashion is good is they've made it in a separate band rather than on the garment like it traditionally would be, but it can be in our favor when we're trying to salvage. It also has a few features on the design in the hem, this embroidery design. Think about things like this could be absolutely cut out entirely and then patched onto something else. So this could actually be reused. And again, this trim could be cut here and then used as the bottom of a peplum top or a skirt or anything like that. This is a little bit damaged. Here we go, but I'm sure it's nothing that can't be fixed. But my main reason will be for these bands here on this one, so keep your eyes open for things like that. That's what I'm going to salvage from this one. One of the bargain ones that I did find is a stained skirt here. Not that my other full priced items weren't stained. Sorry, I don't know if I mentioned, this one was $7. This one, this stained skirt, I got for $1. This is usually the kind of thing that I go for. So this is actually a really, really nice linen cotton fabric in a nice sort of just off-white color. So this fabric will definitely be reused as well because I'll use this. Even this hem here is a faced hem. So this section through here is really quite thick and stiff, and I could even use this as a waistband or a bag strap or something like that entirely, and little pieces through here, collars, cuffs, other bits. It's just, it'll be reused. And there's the same. But what I really got this for was for the sewing items that we're using are, it has a fantastic invisible zip here for $1, just need to unpick it, and 2 metal, trouser sliders for the grand total of $1, plus the leftover fabric. Absolute bargain. There's a lot of things to be salvaged on this one, so that was really great. I am surprised that I only come home with one piece that had buttons on it because I saw many that could be great candidates, and one is the easiest things to use. But I got this particular one here for the buttons. Let me show you, because they are gorgeous shell buttons here. They're just beautiful. So I love these. These are a nice size. There are actually lots of them. I think I counted 15 or something altogether. There's 2 on the cuffs as well, all the way down on the pockets. And so there's a ton of beautiful natural shell buttons here for the grand total of $6. So again, a little bit more expensive than usual, but these buttons are something that I'm searching for to use all of the time. And now again, this is a fantastic fabric that, I could either just pop on some plastic, buttons and then redonate it, or reuse this fabric. It's a beautiful, again, this is a linen cotton. I'm going to keep it in my collection because it may just come in handy for something in this color, just the little sections that I might need. Oh, and look, I just found some staining on this one too. And but this might be really great for just those small contrast pieces here and there. There we go. So let's just quickly recap. I got buttons for $6. I got some shirred trim for $7. I got a zipper and 2 metal sliders, obviously plus leftover fabric, for $1. I've got this fantastic neckline lace piece here, this decorative piece, for $12. And this other neckline piece here, this white one, for I think that was $5. And the beautiful, beautiful velvet buckle here, velvet self-covered buckle for $6. And I told you my budget was completely blown. But I have a bunch of now, so obviously I need to do a lot of unpicking here first, a bunch of different sewing supplies that I've been able to salvage of second-hand items. I haven't spent anywhere near as much as I would full price, and I've been able to save all these pieces from just being thrown out entirely. So I hope it opens your eyes into the different sewing bits that you might be able to find on ready-made garments, because there are lots there that can be salvaged from all those stained, unused, unwanted pieces of clothing that we can scrap for parts and just get, you know, have more things for our sewing kit in a better way. I think that you'll enjoy that too. I would love to hear what kind of things that you're going to search for now, or already do search for, to salvage those sewing supplies from the thrift store. Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear them. Remember to read the comments for all the nifty tips and tricks from our community here. Thanks so very much for watching, and until next time, my sewing friends, happy sewing. Bye.